Welcome to the Property Elite podcast. I'll be your host, Jen Lehman, Chartered Surveyor and co-founder of Property Elite. Stay tuned each week for more on industry hot topics, market updates and new RICS guidance. In this week's podcast, I take a look at tacit relocation. This is a Scottish common law principle, also known as doctrine, relating to the termination of commercial leases. It's essential listening for any Scottish RICS APC or AssocRICS candidates pursuing the Landlord and Tenant, Property Management and Leasing and Letting competencies. In Scotland, the security of tenure provisions under Part 2 of the Landlord and Tenant Act 1954 do not apply, as they do in England and Wales. Instead, the provisions of tacit relocation apply at lease expiry. The parties cannot contract out or avoid the provisions of tacit relocation through express contractual terms. Simply put, tacit relocation means that a commercial lease will continue to run on the existing terms unless formal notice to quit is served to terminate the lease. The notice to quit must be in writing and served as prescribed by the lease. This effectively means that the expiry date stated in the lease is more of an option date rather than a strict termination date. Tacit relocation will then apply on every anniversary of the expiry date, until notice to quit is served by either party. This means that commercial leases can run on for multiple years due to the effects of tacit relocation. Tacit relocation only applies to commercial leases. Agricultural and residential leases are not affected. Notice to quit must be served by either party to terminate the lease at least 40 days prior to expiry. If notice is not served, then the lease will continue for either another year on the existing terms, if it was originally granted for more than 1 year, or the same term as the existing lease, if it was originally granted for less than 1 year. For example, a 6-month lease will continue to 6 months, rather than 1 year, as we mentioned before. So what are some of the potential pitfalls of tacit relocation? Tacit relocation brings uncertainty into the landlord and tenant relationship, as a lease will continue unless it's terminated by either party. If key dates are missed, then this means that the lease will continue, and this may not actually be desired by one or both parties. So if a tenant fails to serve notice in time, then the lease could continue, and the tenant would be liable under the lease for a further year. If a tenant was planning to relocate or close the premises, for example, then this will affect their plans. Equally, if a landlord fails to serve notice and wants to redevelop the premises or relet to another occupier, then their plans will be delayed. So are there any reforms planned relating to tacit relocation? The answer is yes. The Scottish Law Commission published a report called Aspects of Leases Termination in October 2022. In this report, the Scottish Law Commission put forward proposals to legislate lease renewals through a draft Leases, Automatic Continuation, etc. Scotland Bill. This would introduce automatic continuation for 1 year or less than 1 year if the original lease was for less than 1 year, as per the existing position under tacit relocation. However, the parties would be able to contract out of the provisions of automatic continuation or adopt a flexible approach with a reduced continuation period of 28 days or 7 days if the lease was originally granted for under 1 year. The report also proposes a statutory framework for the service of notices to quit by both parties, including the format, notice period, and other requirements. These proposals would remove some of the uncertainty around tacit relocation and provide more clarity to both parties over the process at lease renewal. Thanks for listening to the Property Elite podcast this week. Head to our website to check out our full blog, free and paid support resources and services, free consultation for every single RICS APC and AssocRICS candidate, and also ask us any questions you have via the website chat blog. See you next week.